Good morning. Today we are going to study the Iberian Peninsula, the Christian kingdoms during the 9th to the 15th centuries. The first thing that you need to understand is the location. We are going to study what happened in the Iberian Peninsula. We have studied what happened in the south during Al-Andalus, during this period. And now we are going to study what happened in the north, here. What we call the Christian kingdoms. From the beginning till the end, that it's here. When the only part that we have is the Reino Nazarí de Granada. So from the beginning that almost all the Iberian Peninsula is Al-Andalus, till the end, till now, that in around the 15th century, when the Reyes Católicos took control of the old Iberian Peninsula. Okay, so this is the story of two different parts. The Iberian Peninsula is divided in two parts. The north, that we are going to call them Christian kingdoms, and the south, that it's Al-Andalus. We already have studied Al-Andalus, what happened from the Emirate to the Caliphate, Taifa kingdoms, Almorávides, Almohades, and the Reino Nazarí de Granada. These are the different parts. So while they were moving from one government to other, what was happening in the north? We already have studied some of the main characteristics of the Reconquista and some of the characteristics of this period. One thing that you have to take into account are the different kingdoms that now are going to appear. That is why I have organized the PowerPoint into 4 steps. 4 steps are depending on the chronology, depending on the age we are talking about. Okay, so from the beginning, we're going to divide like the Iberian Peninsula in 2 parts. On one hand, what happened in the west, how the Kingdom of Leon is going to appear, how the Kingdom of Castilla, how the Kingdom of Castilla and Leon are going to get together, how the Kingdom of Portugal is going to appear, okay, how these are going to divide in different parts, and how the Reino de Castilla and Reino de Portugal are the 2 main kingdoms, okay. On the other hand, we're going to study what happened in the east, okay, in this part. Okay, we're going to study how at the beginning they depend on the Frankish kingdom, the Marca Hispanica, then how are going to appear the first Pyrenean counties, County of Aragon, County Catalan counties, Kingdom of Navarra, etc. As you can see here, how they are going to organize in different ways. Okay, they change less than the other parts. Okay, how at the end all turn to be the Kingdom of Granada and the Kingdom of Navarra, as you can see here. Okay, so the 4 steps are divided. Okay, that all this history, all this from 9th century till the 15th century, I have organized in the PowerPoint, as you can see here. Okay, in 4 steps. That is the story, is the history about the Christian kingdoms in the north of the Iberian Peninsula and how they are going to reconquest, they are going to move south, fighting against Al-Andalus, fighting against the Muslims that have conquered the Iberian Peninsula. And this is the story about how these small kingdoms are going to become the big kingdoms that are at the end in the 15th century, El Reino de Castilla and the Reino de Aragon. Okay? This slide, the main things that we have to know before starting about progress and setbacks, borders and repopulation, we already have talked about it in the Al-Andalus PowerPoint. So it's just to review. Formation and evolution of kingdoms. You need to know one important thing, that is royal inheritance. Thanks to that, the kingdoms during this period are going to grow, are going to get together or split over and over as a result of this royal inheritance. And also that the expansion, as we can see in the maps, okay, it's going to be connected on how close they were from the Muslim frontier. So depending on that, they're going to be bigger or smaller. We're talking about Reconquista and Reconquista and Reconquista. Reconquista is considered the period that goes from the 722, the Battle of Covadonga, remember the text we have read in class, until 1492 when the Reyes Católicos, enter into Granada. Okay, we are talking about the Iberian Peninsula. Be careful, don't use Spain. The general meaning is that it's the military advance from the Christian kingdoms from the north towards south, reconquering, taking control of different cities and territories that the Muslims had conquered in 711 and before belonged to the Visigoth kingdom. Nowadays, it's a debate about the name. You have more information and about it. The Christian kingdoms, before we call them the Christian kingdoms, they were small villages at the north of the Iberian Peninsula. Okay, they were scarcely Romanized, almost independent during the Visigoth rule. Okay, the people lived in hamlets. The economy was based on cattle raising and fishing. They don't have trade or currency. Their inhabitants, they sacked the richest lands, etc. Muslims, after the Battle of Covadonga, they don't have any interest in conquering these lands due to their poverty and hostility. So that is why they are not going to try to conquer them anymore. How were the first kingdoms created? This is the first step. We are going to focus in the creation of the Kingdom of Asturias, that is the origin, and in the west, and in the east, the creation of the Marca Hispanica and how the Marca Hispanica is going to become the Pyrenean kingdoms. Okay, you have here timeline. Okay, the Kingdom of Asturias. Asturias is the earliest kingdom to be created. Okay, this was where the Asturian noble Pelayo defeated the Muslims at the Battle of Covadonga. Remember the text. This became an important symbol of the Christian Reconquista. Okay, you have here a map that shows, the Battle of Covadonga. After Pelayo, the first kings, Alfonso I, Alfonso II of the Kingdom of Asturias, are going to move east and west, expanding their territory. Okay, so with this, we finish. We have created the Kingdom of Asturias. On the west, on the east, we have the Marca Hispanica. Okay, remember first, all this belongs to the Frankish kingdom. Okay, that they call the Marca Hispanica. Marca Hispanica is a border, is a frontier against the Andalus in order to protect them from the Muslims. Okay, so this part at the beginning called Marca Hispanica belonged to the Carolingian Empire. But after the death of Carlomagno and after the split of his kingdom, the counts that live here, the Catalan counts, the Aragonese counts, and in Pamplona, they are going to take advantage of that instability and they are going to get the independence from them. Okay, second step. On the west, we are going to see how that small kingdom of Asturias is going to become the Kingdom of Leon. How in that territory is going to appear a new kingdom, that is the Kingdom of Castilla, and in the east, how the Pyrenean kingdom are going to evolve. Okay, the Kingdom of Leon. We have here, how are going to move to progress in 3 different eras. At the beginning, in the second period around the 9th century, and in the third period around the 10th century. You can see here the Rio Duero, that is the first big frontier border that they are going to establish. At the beginning, it was very, very easy to conquer all this territory because the Muslim army didn't worry about it. They conquered and moved south. This part was depopulated, and barren. So if you don't have the Christian kingdoms, they didn't find any opposition, any army in these regions. That is why it was so easy to move south. So if this area was depopulated and barren, what did they have to do? This is very important. And this is what we are going to relate it with with one thing that we are going to talk about at the end. Resettle the territory and cultivate it. Families from the north are going to establish there, and the royal court is going to move, okay, from Oviedo to León. That is why they changed the name from Kingdom of Asturias to Kingdom of León. Okay, but one important thing happened at the same time. In Al-Andalus, they had started the caliphate. Again, the military power grew. And with Almanzor or Al-Mansur, okay, there were several expeditions, or how, as they call them, razzias, through the north. Okay, you have here a map, okay, here, okay, with the different campaigns, with the different expeditions of Almanzor. Okay, what was the main objective? What was the main aim of these Almanzor's campaigns? To threaten, to avoid the Christians to move south. Okay, but the problem was that Almanzor, you have here a little legend about him. Okay, Almanzor died, and at the end, okay, as you may remember, we started the first Taifa kingdoms. So again, all this power that the caliphate tried to establish under Almanzor, it was divided. So the Christian kingdoms again will take advantage of that. Okay. This is a big fortress that existed in the Duero boundary, okay? Okay, so inside of this Kingdom of León that is growing, okay, at the east, okay, here, all this part, okay, here, all this part, as you can see, it was the worst part because the main Muslims attacks enter through here. So that is why they're going to create, okay, they're going to build castles in order to protect them from the Muslims' attacks. From all that castles that they are going to build, okay, it's going to emerge the county of Castilla. Castilla comes from castle, Castillo, Castilla. Okay, in the 10th century, the first counts are going to increase their regional authority, and at the end, Fernando I is going to inherit Castilla and is going to declare himself king. Okay, here you have an image of Fernando I. Okay, so from now on, okay, in the 10th century, 11th century, we have the Kingdom of León and the new Kingdom of Castilla. So what happened? What was happening at the same time in the east? That these smallest counties that appeared in the first step are going to get the independence and they are going to grow. Okay, we have the Kingdom of Pamplona, the Kingdom of Aragon, and the county of Barcelona. Okay, that is going to grow with new smallest counties, north and south. And one important thing is that these three new counties or kingdoms are going to start the expansion through south in the 11th and in the 12th century. One very important thing that happened in the 11th century, it's called Sancho III the Great. You can see here an image. Okay, Sancho III is going to inherit the Kingdom of Pamplona, and thanks to the military progress on one hand and marriage agreements on the other hand, remember that we have talked about the importance of the marriage agreements, he is going to unite his kingdom with everything around. The county of Aragon, and so Bradbeith y Ribagorza, the county of Castilla, and the Kingdom of León. So during a short period of time, we have all the Christian kingdoms, all the north, unified under Sancho III. But, as happened with Carlomagno, this is going to last very short in time, because after his death, it's going to be split in three again. Castilla and León, Navarra, and Aragon. The third step, okay, we are going to see how now the Christian kingdoms are bigger, so how they're going to progress, the expansion of Castilla and León through the Tajo River, and what happened in the east through the Ebro Valley. Why could they progress so much? Okay, you have to remember what was happening in Al-Andalus, Taifa kingdoms. The last thing is Almanzor, so after Almanzor, we have the Taifa kingdoms. Okay, remember, in the first period of Taifa kingdoms, okay, you can see here, okay, we have 25 taifas. Some taifas are going to accept to pay parias or taxes in exchange of peace, and they could settle in the territory. Thanks to the parias, these taxes, the Christian kingdoms could build castles, improve their army and their weapons. All the taifas, okay, that didn't accept to pay these taxes suffer from the attacks from the progress of the Christian kingdoms. The most important is the Kingdom of Castilla and Leon. With Alfonso VI, they're going to move south and they conquer Toledo. The conquest of Toledo in 1085, is going to be a very important symbol because it was the old Visigoth capital. Alfonso VII, okay, he's going to be proclaimed the emperor of all the Hispanias, and the other peninsular kingdoms paid vassals to him. Okay, you can see here the new situation around the 12th century. Okay, we have the Kingdom of Castilla, okay, Leon and Castilla, that it's unified. We have the Kingdom of Portugal that here appeared. We have that the Kingdom of Granada here, of Navarra, excuse me, it's stuck. They cannot move south, okay. And we have here, now we are going to see how Aragon and the Catalan counties are trying to move south through the Ebro River, okay. Fourth step, we have the big crown of Castilla, the crown of Portugal, the Kingdom of Navarra, and the Kingdom of Aragon. What happened with the crown of Castilla and Leon? You have here a timeline, okay, from the 11th century, okay, since Fernando I, okay, and you can see during the different dates how the Kingdom of Leon and the Kingdom of Castilla are going to be together, okay, here, or split in two, okay. Here with the Fernando III, it's the last union, okay. During these centuries, Castilla and Leon get together and get independence from each other a lot, until 1230, where they get together definitively, okay, and name as the Crown of Castilla. Here is important the Battle of Navas de Tolosa in 1212 against the Muslim. It's going to be one of the most important progress of the Christian kingdoms. We will read a text about this. What happened with the Kingdom of Portugal? We have seen how, in the older maps, okay, how they have appeared. It was at the beginning a part of the Leon Kingdom, until 1128, when they get the independence with Alfonso Enriquez, that named himself king. It's going to be usual the wars between Leon and Portugal. But once they get the independence, they're going to spread through south against the Muslims in an independent way, although sometimes they allied with Castilla in order to go together. What happened with the Kingdom of Aragon? Due to, again, different marriages, okay, between the daughter and heir of Aragon and the heir of the Barcelona County, it's going to emerge the big Kingdom of Aragon, okay, with the part of the Kingdom of Aragon and the Catalan counties, okay, and the Crown of Aragon is going to spread south, unified. On the other hand, we have the Kingdom of Navarra. After Sancho III that unified and created this huge kingdom, after that, they can't move south because they were stuck, okay, between the Kingdom of Castilla and the Kingdom of Aragon. So they are going to be constantly in danger due to the location between the interest of the Crown of Castilla, Aragon, and also France. Okay, we have to wait here. Okay, you cannot see in this slide, okay, but if you go to the PowerPoint, okay, we have these 4 strong kingdoms, and they didn't fight among each other to control more territories? What do you think? Okay, we have this situation, and they all are spreading south, and they are not going to fight among each other? That is not true, okay? In the 12th century, King Alfonso VII reached an agreement with the newly created Crown of Aragon, which specified the Muslim territories that each kingdom could acquire through conquest. They are going to divide the Iberian Peninsula. According to the Treaty of Tudela, okay, 1151, the Crown of Aragon had the right to conquest to the Muslim territories of Valencia and Murcia, as you can see in the map. However, some years later, they have to make another treaty called the Treaty of Cazorla that assigned Murcia to Castilla. Okay, so all this part, okay, as you can see here, all this part is going to be in hands of Aragon or Castilla, depending on their expansion. Obviously, both wanted to share, or both wanted to control the same parts. Okay, so with here, okay, we end, okay, the part of the reconquest, okay, of the Reconquista. We are going to leave it there around the 13th century, okay, 13th, 14th century, although the last part is the easiest one. One very important thing is the resettlement or repopulation, that it's the installation of new population and cultivation of the land taken from the Muslim. We have different ways of resettle a territory. The first one is the called presura or apricio, okay, when the king gave the lands to resettle to free peasants. Okay, they own small plots or land and created small towns where water, pasture, and forests were collective goods. On the other option, okay, of resettlement are the council or municipal. Okay, places where they suffer from continuous attacks, okay, they create cities. Okay, they have the cartas pueblas, that were agreements that fix the conditions of cultivations, and the fueros or charters, that are the rights, freedoms, or free taxes that were given to the inhabitants of that city or village. You have an exercise where you can read more about the rights that they give, okay? We'll have nobility resettlements, and we have military orders or monasteries resettlement, religious resettlements, or we have the repartimento, okay? There are the different parts of the... And here you have like the main parts divided in a map where are going to be more important, the presura, the population by the military orders, council population, or repartimento. You have here a map that shows the main military orders, okay? And this is the government and administration, okay? You just need to read and understand this. It's easy, okay? It's how they're going to organize themselves, okay? The different institutions and how they're going to organize. The economy and society you need to make by themselves, okay? And here you have the different maps that can help you to understand, okay, all this period, okay? With that, I hope it's useful for you. Thank you for listening.